How can we build the leadership in our children and our teenagers and our adult children? This is a great question that came through this week. And so I'm going to be unpacking this for you today. And there's three kind of key things. Three things I want all of us as parents to think about as we're trying to develop the leadership in our children. And children meaning whether or not you've got someone who is 8 or 18 or 28, doesn't make any difference. These three things are going to be applicable for all ages, okay? All ages. If we haven't met, my name is Dr. Karyn. I'm the co-founder of DK Leadership. It's a global leadership coaching company. And I've been working with families. In addition to working with organizations, I work with families for coming up on 30 years, so a long time. And so this is a great, I love this topic so much because we're talking about leadership and we're talking about families. But what's really cool about it is that when we actually develop leadership in our children, it's actually also going to help them in their life, in their career. So this is a really, really, really good use of your time right now, everybody, is to really think about what are the things that I can do as a parent that cost me nothing. It costs nothing, just a little bit of time, a little bit of information that I can really help equip my kids for success, however you actually define it. So this is a great question. So 3 things, everybody, 3 things. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so you get notified of other videos. We love to teach leadership tools that apply to both business and family. That's kind of our sweet spot. That's our niche. Okay, so the first thing that you want to really do in terms of leadership, and one of the things, the way that I think about leadership is the way that I think a lot of other leadership experts kind of think about it, which is leadership is not about a position and it's a title and a role. It's about a mindset. Okay. And if you have read my book, The 3 Chairs, I talk about this in the first chapter, that my leadership journey really started when I was in grade 8, when I was diagnosed with a learning disability and told by a clinical psychologist that I'd be lucky to finish high school. If you've seen my TED Talk, you've heard my story. And that was devastating for me. And that was the circumstance that actually I had. But my leadership journey started because that external situation was something I could not control, but how I responded to that external situation, that external stimuli, was within my control. And so if you've seen my TED Talk, you know that I learned in that very frustrating, devastating situation that I had to learn how to ask for help really fast, because one of the goals that I had for myself was that I would go to university. And one of the goals that I had for myself was that eventually I would get my doctorate. That was a goal that I had. And so this is where it all kind of ties together, that my leadership journey really started when I was in the 8th grade. Okay. And so for all of us as parents, a lot of people say, but I'm not a leader, or my kids aren't a leader. This is a mindset. This is a mindset. We all learn a mindset. So the first thing as a parent, what you want to do is you want to try to help your kids start getting a vision for their life. What is the vision that they have for their life? What are some of the goals that they actually have for themselves, both this year, but also long term? Okay. And when I do goal setting, and we have different courses that we teach and do this with families. One of them is called Leadership 101 Youth Edition. And this is literally the process. I do it over about 2 to 3 hours. I walk students through this process. And the first step is really getting them to start thinking about a vision that they have for themselves in this next school year. But also I usually like to do 3 to 5 years. And that's really interesting when you actually start getting young people to start thinking, not just about what do I need to do today? What do I really want to achieve this year? What do I want to achieve in my high school career? And what you're doing is you're really starting to help people vision cast. Now, you might be thinking, Karyn, how do you do that? Now, there's some people that are very right brain and they can kind of give them a pen and paper and they start kind of writing it out. There's a lot of people that they don't know how to access it. It's it's in their brain, but they don't know kind of how to access it. So when I do this process with families in our events, I actually have these cheat sheets, and I literally give them the sheets. And it's amazing when you actually have those little cheat sheets, it just kind of awakens it for themselves. But that's kind of the first thing. Great leadership starts with vision. Okay. A leader self-leadership starts with somebody that starts thinking, what is the vision that I have for my life? What are the goals that are meaningful to me? So not necessarily things that are meaningful to other people. So this is not about the goals that you have for your children. This is about what are the things that they want for you. So we've been doing these exercises. We have twins. If you've been following me, you know that they are now 17. We've been doing these exercises with them since they were in the 4th grade, and we've kept all of them. It's actually really quite fun, and we kind of go back, and not only is it really fun to kind of go back and actually see with what some of the goals are, but we get people to actually look at goal setting in 6 different categories. There's like 6 buckets that we get them to do, and it's been really an amazing process to watch our kids do this, so they can kind of see over all the years from 4th grade to the 12th grade. What are all the different goals that they've actually had? How many of their goals have they actually achieved? And what happens is not only is this now leadership, this is also confidence building, okay? So one of the best ways to build confidence in our children, help them, is to help them set meaningful goals that are important to them. Because what happens is when we set a goal that is important to us, and then we have the courage to step on the gas and actually go after it, it builds what's called self-efficacy. And that impact, that mindset going, oh my goodness, I can impact how my life turns out. I don't have to wait for my life to happen to me. I can actually impact my life. And so all of that, this is all leadership and it's goal setting, but it's also confidence building too. So that's really exciting. So that's the first step, everybody, is really kind of getting people to kind of think about what is the vision that you have for yourself and what are some of the goals that you have for yourself. I work at a camp at the summer. I do some volunteering at a camp, and it's usually grade 11 and 12 students. And I share this story. I share about the story about when I was diagnosed with my disability. I shared about realizing I started getting clear on my goals when I was in the 8th and the 9th grade. And I started really having a vision for myself with where I want to go in my life. And that all kind of started in high school. And I shared the story that I had this vision that I would buy a cottage before I bought a house. I had this vision when I was 16 years old. I started having this idea. And I say to the students, I'm like, when do you think I bought my first cottage? And they're all like, and they find this because now I'm talking about practical application with what I'm talking about. They're like, I don't know, 25, 30. I was 20 years old. If you go on my Instagram, you'll see it. I show the before and after. It was a total dump. I mean, it was a complete, it was a total dump. For most people, they look at this cottage, they think it's a total dump. For me, I saw a palace. I saw what I could do with it. So I bought it when I was 20 years old. I had saved up my money. I had 3 different jobs. I was paying for my university. And so I did it. But the reason I share that is because it's an example on it started with a vision. It started with goal setting. And when you have that goal, then all of a sudden you have to get your other kind of ducks in a row in terms of how you're then going to achieve a goal. A lot of people have a goal and a dream, but they don't have the action plan. You need the goal and the dream, but you also need the plan. And so that's where the next piece, this is where the next piece comes in. So first thing is you got to help your kids in terms of the vision, the goal setting. The second one is around the time management. And if you would like to kind of get a one-pager in terms of what are these different leadership skills you want to make sure you're developing in your kids, type the word leadership below, and somebody from our team will actually send this to you. It's a one-pager on the 5 kind of core leadership skills I want everybody to be learning regardless of their age. And so that's a good baseline for all of us to be working on. So you can go ahead and get that type of leadership below, and somebody from our team will get that to you. Okay, so parents, we want to help our kids in terms of the vision, the goals, get clarity of the goals, things that are meaningful to them. The second piece, which is huge, is really helping them in terms of time management. So goal setting and time management are very interconnected, because if we have a goal but we're not managing our time well, then all of a sudden we look at our life, we're like, what happened? I didn't achieve any of the goals. When we have goals that are important to us, we need to learn how to prioritize those goals. They need to kind of take the priority, and we have to start saying no to other things. So the second skill that is really important for parents is to really help them manage and master time management. So how do you do that? In the course that we have, the Leadership 101 Youth Edition, I walk our students through the process. First of all, getting clarity on their goals. They kind of do this one-pager. They get clarity in 6 different buckets. And then the next part is getting them to really look at their daily routine, but also their weekly routine on how can they master time management, looking at all the different pieces of different things that they actually have committed to, and then how can it all kind of fit together. I will tell you that when we've done this with our own children, yes, are they super excited to do it at the time? I'll be honest, probably not. But afterwards, after we design the plan, okay, after we've got clarity of the goals, now we're kind of like putting their time management piece actually together. I just watch their body language. It's so interesting. And then I'll get a little bit of like, thanks, Mom. This was good. This is a good idea. Like, because all of a sudden, when you've got that finished plan, okay, here's my time. Here's my precious time. I want to make sure homework gets done, academics get done. How does social fit in? How does technology and games fit in? How does part-time jobs fit in? There are all these different pieces that all require our time. So it's a jigsaw puzzle. We have to put it together properly. And if we don't have that plan, then what happens is it just doesn't happen. You know, when people actually say, it's very interesting, everybody, when just pay attention to this when you're talking to people. And, you know, if they say, you know, if they had a goal, like I was going to do a 5K, you know, race. And then they say, well, it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. You know what we're really doing? We're playing the victim. The correct response should have been, I didn't prioritize it. I didn't prioritize it. Or I discovered it was no longer a priority. Or I realized that I had other priorities. So when we kind of take responsibility, when we have not prioritized a goal, is really important. So versus it didn't happen, as if like, you know, the race kind of had a mind of its own and it kind of like took over, versus no, actually I did not prioritize it, or I realized it wasn't one of the top 3 priorities. So that's a really subtle shift in terms of leadership, getting a person to really take responsibility and ownership for their decisions and how they manage their time. So just a little thing to kind of pay attention to. So time management is huge. So first thing is helping them get clarity on their goals, and their vision. The second thing is really helping them actually master their time management. And the third thing, and once we have those 2 things in a row, you know what's going to happen, everybody? The third one, which is their emotion management. And this is kind of the fun piece. You know, we're seeing mental health crisis all over the place. We're seeing so many young people struggle with anxiety and stress. And one of the things I often say, as somebody who is a professional, a healthcare professional in this, is that when we don't take care of 1 and 2, we're going to probably have a problem number 3. If we don't have clarity of our goals and we have not have clarity of our time management, I can almost guarantee you we're going to have challenges in the third one, because the third one is almost the consequence when we don't take care of 1 and 2. When we don't have clarity about what we want to do, we have not prioritized now our time. A lot of us are going to feel very stressed. And we're probably going to feel a lot of anxiety because we're not achieving the things and doing the things that are important to us. So I often say, and if you've heard me talk about this on other videos, that stress and anxiety and all these kind of other emotions are usually because something else is off. And the emotion is not the problem. It's like a little referee and a flag that says you need to pay attention to some other things. And so, but the cool thing is when we prioritize our vision and our goals, and we prioritize our time and how we're going to get our priorities taken care of, what happens is all of a sudden we feel this incredible sense of hope and optimism and excitement and greater energy. And that's one of the things I love. When I do this process with students over 2 to 3 hours, I love watching the energy that shifts. People at the beginning will be like, I don't know how to do this. And by the end, it's like, I feel so great about this plan, because literally with what we're doing is we are getting them to create a plan of with what is the most important to them. And so this is an amazing way. If we really want to help our kids in terms of their energy management, their emotion management, we want to reduce that stress, we want to help them reduce anxiety, we need actually to create the plan. Create the plan in terms of the goals, how that actually fits with time management, and then just with watch what happens. Productivity goes up, stress comes down, confidence goes up, leadership comes up. Parents, we can do this, okay? These are wonderful practical skills that we can teach our children. So make sure, like I said, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. So if you haven't done so yet, type leadership below, and somebody from our team will send you a one-pager that kind of highlights these different leadership skills I want every age group to learn. And hopefully you'll see us at one of our courses. And if not, definitely enjoy all of the free videos here on YouTube. And if you have a topic you would like us to cover in leadership, that's whether it's for business or families, let us know, and you can send us a personal message or actually share it below as well. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you at one of our other videos.